Back to the impressions and mimicking people and watching Spike Milligan, watching Python. As soon as you see these things, these programs, these shows, is there, I want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, and it's part of the reason that I started this pod. Also, alongside the fact that we need more podcasts.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to do it. Don't worry, guys. I've got you.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah.
It's all right. Anytime. Available on all platforms. But something that I'm interested in, and it's a bit narcissistic because I'm a performer myself, but is what separates someone from just, how come some kids went, I really like that show, it makes me laugh a lot, I'll watch the next episode, I might even buy the video. And then some kids went, I love that a lot, I want to do that. Why could you go, I want to do that, and then someone else, not Simon, for example, Simon would have loved it, but he's not gone, I need to do that.
Yeah.
What's the separation?
I don't know.
What makes you want to do it, do you think? Can you answer that?
I suppose it was because my friends found me funny. I was like, and also as I got a bit older, my sort of teens, hearing people like impressionists, for instance. So like I would see like Rory Bremner, right, and like Phil Cool. Don't know if you remember Phil Cool. He was like from somewhere up north. He's really an excellent impressionist, and like a lot of impressionists, you steal impressions from impressionists, and sort of that's how you kind of get the key into them from like I remember watching Rory Bremner once being interviewed on Good Morning Britain, and he was talking about how to do Chris Tarrant, and anyway, he's got this kind of these different kind of modes to his voice. Anyway, and he was doing all that, and I was kind of like that. I kind of sort of copied that, and then sort of, it was like kind of unlocks it for you, in a sort of way. And I was thinking, I can do that if like these people, these grown-ups, right, who are like adults, they're doing this, right? That's what their job is. Yeah. My dad was a scaffolder. I was like, I want to do the opposite of what my dad does, right? It's like, doesn't.
I don't want to carry a thing.
Yeah, no. It's not me. It's like, it's also like, it was a very kind of like macho kind of like, boys kind of like, they were like the most buildery builders, and it's just, that wasn't me at all. It was like, just.
Well, why weren't you like that then? Do you think if your dad, if your dad was, and siblings? Sorry, did we siblings?
Yeah. So I got a younger brother and a younger sister, and so yeah, my sisters are right. They're both in comedy. My brothers are.
My mind's just gone blank. Of course they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I know
like
that.
my brother's he produced my sketch show, and he's a writer. He's done like written all kinds of stuff with Nat Saunders. They did this show, Sick Note, for instance.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I bloody auditioned for it.
Did you? Did you?
I rightly didn't get it.
What was the part you auditioned for? The lead, yeah. The lead. Dude.
This is what I try and work out is, how do people get parts? That's another reason I started the pod.
Right, okay.
But no, as I say, I rightly did not get that.
Yeah.
But it was I genuinely loved it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And like, particularly for me, like Nick Frost in that's my favorite. It's my favorite role of his. Is like he's just so funny in that, man. But
yes,
and Anyway, so and then my sister.
Oh, by the way, the part went to Rupert Grint.
Yeah. Went to Rupert Grint. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Just for anyone, what if they didn't know, they might.
Rupert Grint, yeah. And
So you've all ended up in the creative industry.
Yeah, so my sister created Motherland, right? So she created that, and then
become a dynasty.
Yeah,
somehow.
Yeah, like the Murdochs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because
that's
then
extraordinary. extraordinary. Come on, man.
It's great. It's just.
But how?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like I say, I think a lot of it goes to my mom, who is like, she's so funny, and like she was, she's not in this industry at all. She's like someone.
Your dad was a scaffolder. What was she doing?
So she was. She brought us up, right? And she was like, she was a housewife, and she did that. But she was also like a machine knitting teacher, and she made curtains and clothes and like furniture coverings and she's always been like so creative, and still even now she learned to paint like about 15 years ago. She's an amazing painter, and paint in all different styles, and she's still kind of like she made costumes for me in my shows and stuff.
That's
and
wonderful.
She's amazing. Like,
so you were encouraged then to be creative, all three of you.
Yeah. And just like I say, she really understood. It was like placed at such a high value on like comedy and also music. Just like watching like music videos on Tiswas and stuff when we were kids, or Top of the Pops, like just into like what was going on at the time. She wasn't like a person who was tutting at the screen and Kids of Today and stuff. She was like just like into it all, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And did she actively kind of encourage you, as in did she kind of say to you, this is possible for you? Or
yeah, I mean, in a way, I don't know if she did. I guess she was like, I knew that I wanted to do something like this, be a comedian, actor, or whatever it is that I do. And like, she just encouraged me to do that. Like, and she had faith that I would do it, and
it's not a career path. At what point do you kind of work out? It's going to be difficult to do it when you're very young. That, okay, well, I want to do that. I've got a dream of doing these kinds of things.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what you would do is you would start making sketches, and you would do impressions, and you would post them online. That would be the beginning of your career, as it were, today.
Yeah.
But then, at what point do you go, I better go to drama school, or what?
So that was a thing that I wanted to do, drama school, and then but what I actually did was I was in a band, and then the band split up, and we bought a Tascam 4-track tape recorder, and then I sort of bought the rest of the band members out of this thing, and so I had it myself. Had a microphone, and with Simon again, we wrote this little 5-minute sketch that was like a sitcom where I played all these different characters, so I could multi-track it and like play these characters. I had like music and stuff and sound effects and so I was playing these different characters, and I sent it off. This was when I was like, I must have been like 17, I think. Sent it off to 2 places. Cosgrove Hall Animation, they made Danger Mouse and Count Duckula and those cartoons.
Bangers, absolute bangers.
Yeah, and then I sent the other one off to Radio 4, and this producer Gareth Edwards at Radio 4 happened to listen to my thing, and then invited me to London. And this was when I was 19. Invited me to London and said, look, I've got this show that I'm doing, and I want to give you a part in this show. It was like a mock rockumentary hosted by, at the time, so Alan Freeman. Do you know Alan Freeman?
Okay. Who's
the guy that like Smashy and Nicey was like Harry Enfield's and Paul Whitehouse's sketch.
Right.
So it was Harry's character was based on Alan Freeman, all right, and he was like this DJ who used to do the rock charts. Still, he was like in his 70s then, right? Okay, mates, all right, and they were all his catchphrases, and he, this is how long ago it was, love. He used to smoke in the studio, and 60 Wonderful. A day, but you've got to die of something. That was what he used to say, and it was like, so he presented this thing, and like he would slowly disappear in the booth because it would get so smoky, But it was doing this show with him, and it was like fake kind of rock history and told through sketches, and it was really cool. And I got to work with someone. So do you know Phil Cornwell? Do you know him?
I do, as in Stella Street.
As in Stella Street, yeah.
Come on.
Phil Cornwell, he's brilliant. Oh, yeah, I really got to, get back in touch with him. He's absolutely brilliant. And he was like he was a big inspiration to me as well. It's like, 'cause he was an impressionist, and he was like a lunatic, He's like, his comedy is just like,
Stella Street was amazing.
Yeah.
My mum, that was one of the things my mum would play, because Stella Street was only 15 minutes, which is quite unique.
That's right, yeah.
And my mum would, she would kind of not make me watch it, but that's one of the things I would do with my mum, was watch Stella Street.
Yeah. And that, so, it was working with him, and I was like, oh my God, I'm working with, he was like probably the first, that was the first time I'd had that experience of working with someone who was like an idol of mine.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then I got to know him, I became friends with him, I did a series with him, and then, and then when I quit drinking when I was about 30, and Phil, Phil had big problems with drink and stuff, and he'd been sober for many years, and we'd been working together not long before I'd quit drinking, and he'd always said to me, look, Pete, if you ever want to stop drinking, I'm there for you. And I remember when I made the decision, I called him, and he took me to my first AA meeting, and I'll always be so grateful.
Oh, that's lovely. I also don't drink.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very
Okay.
sober podcast, right?
Yeah. And
that's amazing that he did that.
And then but actually recently I started drinking again, and because I thought, because I never got on with AA, right? Although I was very grateful that it was there, and but like the thing of like, everyone's quite kind of, it's a bit kind of culty, right? It's a bit sort of like, is how I found it was like, if you're not doing it right, what you're doing 30 meetings in 30 days. And if you don't do that, you're kind of not doing it right. And they would kind of look down on you and stuff. And so it was all that kind of stuff. And also,
and there's the phrase that, because it's called a dry drunk.
Oh my God, that annoys me so much, man. It just annoys me, and it's like, and it's I think it's like people projecting their own insecurities onto you, make them feel a bit better. White knuckling it as well is like a similar thing, And dude, it's like, so I like a couple of years ago, I thought, because they instill this fear in you that if you have one drink, you're going to go crazy, right? And like go on a 2-day bender. I mean, for some people, maybe that's what happens. But I just thought, I fancy, I thought I fancy a glass of red wine. This was before. It was just before I was about to do a new show live on stage. I thought, this is a good time to kind of test if I'm going to like spin out on an alcoholic bender, right? And then I did, and I was like, fine. I thought that this tastes nice, and like it was okay. It was, blah, blah, blah. And then, so I've just had like a couple of years where I've been like, I haven't like, I haven't like been, I didn't go crazy. I didn't whatever, but it was like, I sort of got into the habit of just drinking again. I was like, and then I just said, you know what, I'm just going to knock it on the head again. And honestly, I'm like, it's such a burden that I've been released from. It's like, I'm so glad that I just don't feel the need to do it. And it was kind of easy for me, having quit for like 18 years.
Fucking hell, a long time.
Yeah, man. It was like, how long have you?
About 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's, so I suppose you're a stand-up, right? Mm-hmm. And like, it's quite, you're a one-man band, and you're like, you've got this, it's like how I felt as an actor, and, whatever I do is like, I'm always, I spend a lot of time on my own, and like I'm in hotel rooms and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm very much a kind of one-man band as well in a lot of ways. And it's, I don't know, it's like, it's so much easier to navigate all this stuff and not drink, man. It's like, you know, and I find that the people that I love and respect, and like, you know, the people who I admire, is like, they don't drink. And it's like, dude, you used to not fucking drink, you know? So I'm so pleased that I've done this again. It's like great, man. It's great.
Good.
Don't miss it at all, you know?
And
it's so much easier now than when I did it. Like, I was in the taxi on the way here, I was talking to the cab driver, and we ended up having a big conversation about it. It was like, he was kind of the same. It was like, had drink and drug problems, and he'd put all that behind him, and like so much kind of more serene and happy. And, you know, it was weirdly, the thing of Alan Watts is like, he died of alcoholism. He just couldn't kind of, that was his thing. He just kind of went into a kind of an alcoholic stupor and died. And it was like so sad. And, you know, and like and this thing is really, I said this, I was on Russell Howard's podcast the other day, and I said this to him as well. I was like, and it makes me quite emotional, where Alan Watts on his deathbed said, you know, he'd been doing all these lectures for years and years, and he said, if only there was, his last words were, if only there was a way I could carry on doing this without my body. But he did. That's what he did. It was like, you know, I've got all these through YouTube, finding all his lectures. It's like, he's just there with me, you know. It's like, you know, it's fucking great. Anyway, I think you'll dig him.
Yes,
know,
I think a lot of people will be listening or watching to this and also go there.
Yeah,
so I definitely plan on doing that. Some exciting news. To celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Class Clown, we have launched some merchandise with this week's episode sponsor, Shopify. I love listening to my favourite podcasts at home with a brew in my favourite mug, and now you can do the same with your very own Class Clown mug while wearing a Class Clown t-shirt and a Class Clown hat. Make sure you hit the link in the episode description to check out our online store that we have launched with Shopify. The success of this podcast has really been amazing, and it's all down to you guys for listening, so thank you so much. When we started the podcast, we wondered if the topic would be a bit niche and if anyone would tune in at all. But over the last year, we have had well over 3 million streams and downloads and tens of millions of clip views on the socials. And honestly, it's blown us away. So we have launched our own merch store with the help of Shopify, and it's been an incredibly simple process working with them. If you are thinking about taking a leap yourself and starting a business, I would highly recommend you check out Shopify. You can get started with your own design studio, which has hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build an incredible online store that matches your brand's style, and Shopify also helps spread your brand's awareness with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. And of course, there's the iconic and instantly recognizable purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world. It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. It also helps boost conversions, meaning less carts going abandoned and more sales for you. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your £1 per month trial today at shopify.co.uk. Go to shopify.co.uk. That's shopify.co.uk. At this point, from what I understand, from speaking to you, is there's kind of everything before and after you sending that tape.
Yeah.
You sending that tape starts everything. You don't send that tape, well then we don't really know where we're going to go.
Yeah.
But you send the tape. What makes you think? Is there there must be a confidence. Do you think when you send this tape, is this going to happen for you? Do you think you're going to?
I don't know. I guess, right? I suppose confidence is, you know, you kind of think of it as like, you know, yeah, I'm fucking great, right? And I can do anything, blah, blah. And it's more like not thinking about it, just that thing of just not thinking it, not like kind of out thinking, not kind of like second, third, fifth guessing yourself and like, you know.
Do you know what I think? Sorry. Are you following a thought? Sorry.
No. Carry on.
It's you look, but you get older. You look back at how kind of and the word is confident. It's the word we use. You were confident to send that tape, or I was confident enough to get up on stage. But actually, it's not knowing. It's the naivety of youth. Always, it's like if I knew then kind of what I would go on to do, I think I'd be. I always think I couldn't do this now. If I had to start now, and I know this is a strange reality, how do you separate yourself from what you've done? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what I do now.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what dimensions I'm talking about.
But that's it. It's like all that is just, that's just the concept. It's just like, because the past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. All that exists is now, right?
Yeah.
That is all. And it's like, you're just in the now, right?
Yes.
The start of this podcast doesn't exist. It's like, that was,
Okay. The and subscribe buttons do exist, which you can tap. Go on.
I guess it's just that if you think about, it's like your thoughts, your mind is very good at saying, yeah, but what if this happens? What if this happens? And inventing problems that don't, and that's the other thing, is like, problems don't exist. I mean, I'm saying this like I'm some wise being. It's like this. I'm just repeating what these guys are saying. I mean, I'm trying to understand this myself as well. But
did you have to go to Alan? Did you have to kind of find Alan Watts, because actually these voices were making themselves present?
Yeah,
the doubt and all
definitely.
of that. You go, fuck, I need to get rid of this.
Totally living in my head, and like, I've been to therapy a lot of times, and like, like AA, like that was a very helpful thing in a lot of ways. And I remember that first meeting going there with Phil. I was quite kind of like, and I'm like, I don't know whether any of the listeners can relate to this, but I find this applies to a lot of situations in my life where I'm kind of sniffy about something. I think, this is not going to be for me. Do you know what I mean? It's not this. And then by the end of this thing, I was like, I remember going into this meeting, and there's like 100 people there.
Wow,
and I'm just
looking.
Yeah, it was a big one, and I was lucky that it was this big one. It was like, and there was like 100 people there, and I'm looking around thinking, these people are nothing like me, right? You know? And by the end of it, I was like, these people are exactly like me. It's like, hearing these people's stories, and like, oh my God, just relating to everything, and that was really helpful. But then with therapy, I always found like, I think, I kind of wanted to, because the therapist is a person, and I would want to kind of talk about them a bit, right? And like, and also at the same, I would want to find out about them. And I also I could also see their flaws as well. And that kind of annoyed me. And like, I was like, there was one guy I went to who was like, ADHD, and like he like there was a couple of times where he got the date of the appointment wrong, and I was like sitting there waiting outside, right? And I'm like thinking, jeez,
great therapist,
fucking hell. And then but then listening to Alan Watts was like, it was the only thing that ever had made sense to me. And the way he talks, it's such like, he talks in such a clear, he's got such a beautiful voice, and he's got such a clear way of explaining these things that, like that thing I said to you, like time doesn't exist. It's like previously I'd thought that was just like a kind of meaningless hippie buzzword kind of thing. But there's this other guy called Rupert Spira who I sometimes listen to, and he's a British guy who's very he's very kind of calm and precise, and like there's a woman in the audience who says, "Look, I can't get my head around this thing of time doesn't exist and the past doesn't exist, and I can see the future is like potentially going to exist, but like the past, I mean, I can remember having my breakfast this morning and getting my kid to school." And he's like, okay, well, he says, what I want you to do is right now, I want you to go and visit the past right now. I want you to go and experience the past. And she's like, well, I can remember it. And he said, no, because you're remembering that now, because this is now. But I want you to go and experience the past. No, and she's like, and it's like, it's a weird thing to get your head around, because like we have all these concepts that we've created, and like it's like I mean, I'm no way near to like understanding this whole thing, but like it's the only it's like it's crazy. It's like a head fuck to think like,
yes,
this is all that is, right?
Yes, yeah. When you said that when sometimes I think you said you could see the therapist's flaws.
Yeah.
Do you think that being a mimic and being an impressionist, there is something within that helps you kind of see into people?
I think I think yes, and I think people who are sort of similar to me have this kind of weird empathy, I suppose, or certainly connect with people in a way that people who don't think like this kind of whatever fucking lunatic brain this is. It's like that they don't, right? It's like, so I was telling you earlier, it's like I'm developing this podcast with it's like a rival one to your podcast.
Yeah, we'll just cut this, mate. But go on, give it a go, because it's getting guts. Go on.
It's with this guy Josh Berry. This brilliant comedian and impressionist, and like
lots of viral clips. He's come up on my algorithm.
Yeah,
and
you've probably seen his like Louis Theroux, where like in these studios we're in, right?
Yes.
Is like it just makes me just want to do a backflip, right, when I see him, or when I see like, if I see someone doing like a really amazing impression, it just like, oh God, it just fills me with such joy.
Why?
I don't know. Because I suppose I really appreciate it, but like, so we're doing this thing about like why it is that like people like us who do impressions, why that's so appealing, why we kind of want to do it, and like why it seems to be connected with people who are like on, the spectrum, sometimes multiple locations on the spectrum, and then haven't got to know Josh and talking to him. I mean, it's so crazy because like we just like, it's like we start talking and then suddenly it's like an hour. Like we were on the Tube once talking about like doing impressions of like the Tube announcements that you hear, Northern Line, like, and it's like doing, these things that we kind of hear and notice that regular people don't really notice, and then we were talking, and then suddenly he was like, oh my God, I should have got off like 2 stops ago. And like, okay, right, and so yeah, I could find that kind of fascinating.
When I could do it when I was younger, I could mimic a lot of people.
Right.
What I found is I could kind of only really, really mimic someone if I really liked them. But a lot of the impression came with the body more so than the voice. So if you let me get up and I do the whole impression, I know it's a good impression. But if I just do voice, it's not that convincing.
Well, look, man, that's exactly what we've been talking about. This is like the way that we do impressions of people. It comes from like loving them, right? It's like it's a sort of like a tribute to them in a sort of way. And even people that I don't actually like superficially like.
Yes.
for instance, like Andrew Tate, right?
Yes,
You know,
okay.
like, you know, I've done like Andrew Tate a bit, right? And like
Would be odd if you were a big Andrew Tate fan.
yeah, wouldn't it?
It would be slightly
But like
unsettling.
there's something about like I was talking about this the other day. Is like I had this dream where I was with him, and he knew I'd been making fun of him, like which I do. I was like, you know, I tweet him sometimes about like like when he was doing that boxing match recently, and I was like, you know, I was telling him like I was glad that he'd like protected his little pussy, you know, that he didn't get punched in the pussy too much, you know, and I was, but anyway, I had this dream where he'd found out that I was making fun of him, but it was like we were kind of sort of smiling together, and I kind of saw like his insecurities and like his, I don't know what that means really, but like I sort of slightly, I don't know, but I guess like, you know, but
so
then,
your recommendations are Alan Watts and Andrew Tate. Okay.
yeah, I mean, yeah. But I suppose like I've been doing this. I've been working with. I don't know if you've heard of AI. So I've been doing
popular AI.
Yeah. Or A1.
Yeah.
I've been working with deep fakes for like these last few years. I've got this thing now where I do this show where I've got a camera that tracks me on stage and a video screen behind me, and it changes my face instantly to whoever I'm doing, right?
This is a live show?
A live show, yeah.
Has this happened?
I've done a version of it where I did Elvis. It was Elvis show, man. It was like, I do, so I learned how to sing like him. I realized I love Elvis, but I don't really like any of his songs, right? They're kind of boring and old-fashioned kind of songs. And so I did this thing where it's like Elvis doing songs that I like. And like, where Elvis is like, because that's the thing with Elvis is like he interpreted other people's songs. That was his great thing, right?
Yeah.
And like, and his music, Elvis is like, his DNA is in like every kind of music, right? And every song, and like, he's just such a powerful presence. And it's like, I really got to understand why he's been so popular for people to impersonate, right? So they want to embody him, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is like, what I've realized doing this deep fake thing and like developing this software to kind of, you know, to have these masks on my face is like I realized that I change my face like quite a lot when I'm doing it. You know, it's like if I'm doing Paul McCartney, you know, it's like I do, you know, my lip goes down, and like, you know, and you know, and it's like, and I think
even that wobble that you did, you became suddenly more gentle.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thanks.
Because actually, you in real life is very overpowering.
Yeah.
Could you go back to?
Yeah, he's so non-gentle. It's weird. Such a rough guy.
No, look, I don't want to keep any more of your time. You've been absolutely. We've never met.
No, we never met. No,
but it's been an absolute joy.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you
for
so
me
much.
too. I've loved this, man. I'd love to come back.
Yeah. You're going to regret saying that. I'll tell you now.
Wow.
But I don't live too far away from you, so I will pester you when I see you. And
man. Yeah. Well, I'll get your number, right?
But I have questions from our Patreon.
Okay,
which is something you'll be doing on your new podcast.
Okay,
which I
yeah.
don't know about,
Right. Okay.
So your new podcast, you'll have a Patreon where people want more of you. They go to your Patreon.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that's everything from Peter. I mean, I absolutely loved that. As I said, we didn't know each other before this, but I had such a joy, such an interesting life. And he's someone that just seems to be able to enjoy something and then be in it, which is incredible, but, you know, much deserved. What a talented man. Absolutely loved him. If you want more with Peter, head to patreon.com/classclown for some exclusive extra content where he answers your questions. That's everything from us. See you next week for more Class Clown. Cheers.